What does asset protection mean to you? I'll tell you what it means to me, but probably not what it means to you. People come in all the time and they say they schedule a consultation and it's for asset protection. And my first question to them is, what are we trying to protect and who are we trying to protect it from? Those can be very different answers based on the individual situation. So sometimes I'm afraid when I get old that I'm going to get dementia, have a stroke, slip on the banana peel, break a hip, and end up in a nursing home. And I don't want everything I've ever worked for to go to pay for my long-term care and leave my family nothing. So I want to protect my assets from nursing home costs. That's very different than someone coming in saying, I'm a general contractor and I have crews out on the street driving heavy equipment and putting up ladders and scaffolding. And I'm afraid that I'm going to get sued and that someone's going to try to pierce the corporate veil and get to my personal assets if my company gets sued. Sometimes people own rental property and they have it in their own name and they're afraid that a disgruntled tenant might file a frivolous lawsuit just to be a pain and a nuisance and pinch them for some money. Different strokes, different folks, and asset protection doesn't mean the same thing. There's no one size fits all in the legal world, but certainly when it comes to asset protection. So the first thing we're going to want to know is, what do you have that you're wanting to protect? And who do you want to protect it from? You can answer those two questions for me. We can have a meaningful conversation on what types of strategies could be available. Maybe it's an LLC. Maybe it's an anonymous holding company in a state like Wyoming that keeps your name off the public record. Maybe it's a land trust to get your name off of your own home so that if somebody goes into the property appraiser's website in your county and looks up your name, they can't find out where you live. All of that comes under the guise of asset protection. My job as an asset protection attorney is to listen first, give advice second. And the only way I can get to really good advice is to listen to your story, what's keeping you awake at night, and what are you trying to accomplish in an asset protection strategy. As soon as I know that, we can lay down several really potent strategies that are available and that will give you different degrees of asset protection. Talking about degrees of asset protection, some people want just a little bit, and that's totally fine. Some people want the belt and suspenders approach, totally fine too. Those are different plans with different characteristics, different tax ramifications, and ultimately different legal fees to set them up and to maintain them. So if you own, I had one just yesterday, 18 rental properties. I said, do you want 18 LLCs? That would be the most protective, but you're going to file 18 filing fees every year and 18 tax returns. And if you want the most protective structure, that's it. But the administrative costs might be overburdensome. So let's talk about grouping your rental properties into less LLCs than 18. So this client decided that they were comfortable having up to about $500,000 of equity in each LLC. So we're putting between 2 and 3 properties per LLC. It drastically reduces their exposure from a risk perspective, but if something happens on any of those 2 or 3 properties within that LLC, they could lose everything that LLC owns. It's a judgment call based on the client's perspective and the client's comfort with how much exposure they want. I never impose my risk tolerance for my clients or tell them how they need to do it, but I simply give them the options, the education, and the tools that are available to let them sleep at night. For some people, it's one LLC for 50 properties. Not my flavor, but it might be theirs. Some is, I want 50 different LLC structures or 50 land trusts or 50 anonymous holding companies to make sure that I limit the liability as much as possible. So everyone is different. Every situation is different. If you're seeing an attorney or you're reading something online, the famous one is everybody needs a Cook Islands trust and a Nevis LLC and a Swiss bank account. That's the only asset protection that works. Well, it really doesn't work if you're a real property investor. If you're a local business owner, it really doesn't work at all. So It's nice to say this fancy stuff that is offshore and super sexy and it's off jurisdiction and US judges can't get to it. But if you have a piece of property or a vehicle here in the US, I promise you a judge can get to it. So work with a professional, with a attorney that does asset protection for a living and has been doing it for decades. That is going to be your best solution, and one that actually listens to you and gives you advice on your options after understanding what's keeping you awake at night. If you have any questions, follow us on social media and check out our website. Call us for a free consultation. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to help educate you on asset protection strategies that are right for you, your business, and your family. Thank you so much, and have a great day.